Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be doing a review and experimentation on the Karin Decobrush tip markers, and I'm going to be doing it in my sketchbook, my Stillman and Byrne mixed media sketchbook. So I'm going to take you through some different ways that I use the Karin brush tip markers. So these are my Karin Deco brush markers. I have done a few sketchbook entries with these markers, nothing too serious, and I want to explore them a bit more and share with you some experimentation and see what happens. These are the books I will be using for inspiration, so butterflies and moths, mushrooms, and a book on flowers. So let's see what I come up with. Okay, to begin, we are starting with some prep work. When I started making this video, I had no plan or intention of using specific methods, but I came up with 5 different ways to use these markers, and you will see that on the remaining parts of this video. It was truly an experimentation, and I really enjoyed the process. That's why I think it was so enjoyable, is that I just went in and made up these methods as I was working on this spread here. Okay, so the first way that I used the markers was by priming a page in my sketchbook with gesso, and I did 2 different ways with the primed paper. The first way, I just used gesso as the base and then outlined my drawing and went straight for the brush tip markers, and it worked out beautifully. I felt that the colors were nice and vibrant, they stood out. The second way that I used the gesso background was with acrylic wash. So I went in and blocked in some colors as my base. Let that dry, and then I went over with the markers, the acrylic base markers. And I did all my detailing and everything. Now this one was by far the most vibrant in colors, and to be honest, I like the visual effects of it the most, so it was my favorite overall. Okay, so next we have no base, no gesso, just straight on the paper. It still worked great. To be honest, I didn't feel a big difference between having a gessoed background versus not having a gesso background. This is very good paper, mixed media, it's very thick, so that may have been a factor. They went on smoothly. I was able to layer these markers. Are great for layering, and they're buildable. Some of the colors are more transparent than others, and it worked to my benefit sometimes. Where I did, like, especially the light colored markers, they were more transparent. You can see a little bit of the color underneath showing through, and I really liked that for just highlighting some areas. So I could build it up, and if I want it to be more opaque, I can just layer it and layer it, so I felt like I had more control with those transparent colors, whereas most of the dark colors were more opaque. Alright, so next I have some real mixed media here. The more transparent colors, like the pastel colors, I went and colored it in let it dry, and then I did some detailing with colored pencils on top. So the base pastel markers layered on top, we have the colored pencils. On the background, I used Copic markers, and then I went over the Copic markers with some detailing and hatch marks with the Karin markers, and I really like that effect too. So that experimentation was fun. I felt like each one, they look very similar, but there's some slight differences, subtle differences, that I can refer back to this experimentation and look and see, you know, what I would like to do in the future if I, you know, when I use them again, how I want to use them. So that was good. And I did the lettering in the markers, and I had to go over it twice. So this is 2 coats, and maybe a 3rd coat might work best. And then lastly, I just did some outlining and colored pencil with the stars and the moon. But I am really pleased the way this turned out. Okay, so this is my last experimentation. This one, what I did, I outlined everything, and then the base is watercolor. Then I went over it with a little bit of colored pencil, and then I did some accents with the Karin markers for the moth, the ginkgo leaves, and then the swirlies in the background. So that was fun. I liked the effect that I got from that as well. And then at the bottom, I just have the colors that I use for my watercolor palette, which is, if you're curious, my M-gram colors that I've put together. So if you watched my last haul, these are the colors that I bought for my last haul, which I'm enjoying a lot. So those are nice. So overall, I enjoyed these markers. They were fun to work with, a different way for me to make art. I love working with mixed media and just playing with a bunch of materials and just having fun with it. So hopefully this video was helpful, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful and creative day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.